All right, let's dive into something that, honestly, affects every single one of us. We're talking about the challenge of really expressing who we are.
I mean, have you ever had that feeling? You know, the one where the words just get stuck or you bite your tongue instead of saying what you really mean. It's such a common frustration, but it turns out there's a much deeper reason behind it.
So, here's the core idea we're going to unpack. We all have this amazing built-in ability for perspective, for transcendence. It's this power to express ourselves from a higher, clearer place. And we're not just talking about speaking. This is about writing, creating, basically showing the world who you are at the right time with the right people. But for so many of us, that ability is just lying dormant. It's asleep. So what happens when that core ability stays dormant? Well, we end up with something called the unexpressed self.
And look, this isn't just some small annoyance. It hits us hard in three really crucial areas. First, our communication. It just suffers, right? We don't have that perspective. Then there's our self-worth. It takes a nosedive because we feel stuck in these limiting beliefs. And finally, our problem-solving skills get weaker because we just can't seem to get that bird's-eye view on things. The bottom line is, when we can't get it out, our whole inner world pays the price.
So instead of feeling that amazing sense of transcendence, that feeling of expressing our fullest self, we get the total opposite. We feel smaller, we feel diminished. And that feeling often bubbles up as frustration and anger, which, when you think about it, is really just a communication style that's screaming, I feel like I'm not enough.
Now, this internal frustration, it doesn't just stay put. Oh no. It spills out and gets us stuck in this really destructive loop, what we can call a cycle of blame.
Okay, let's walk through this downward spiral step by step. It all kicks off with that feeling of being blocked, right? You can't express yourself. And to deal with that feeling of powerlessness, what do? We resist. We start blaming the situation, blaming other people, anything to feel like we have some control. But it's a trap because it just reinforces this idea that life is unfair. After a while, all that resisting is just exhausting. So we give up. We fall into surrender, just giving in to the helplessness. And where does that lead? Straight to guilt. That endless replay in your head, going over and over what you should have done differently.
And that's the real kicker. This whole cycle chains you to the past. Guilt is always yanking your focus backward, which makes it pretty much impossible to be present. How can you communicate clearly with someone who's right in front of you when your head is stuck in yesterday?
And this thought right here, it becomes like a blocking mantra. It's the theme song of victimhood. It's a statement that proves you're not in the present moment at all because all your energy is getting poured into how unfair everything was back then.
So that internal cycle of blame we just talked about, it has to go somewhere. And it usually shows up in how we communicate, pushing us into one of two, let's call them broken extremes.
So, this frustration pushes us to opposite ends of the spectrum. On one end, you've got the rigid pole. This is where that frustration just explodes outward. It's harsh, it's judgmental, it's angry. You know, the person who calls it brutal honesty, but really it's just cruel. There's no empathy. Then on the other extreme, you have the loose pole. Here, the communication is just mushy. It's unclear, rambling, all about pleasing people and desperately avoiding any kind of conflict. So you see, one person explodes, the other one implodes.
And here's the thing, even though they look like total opposites, both of these styles are born from the exact same place, that unexpressed frustration. And guess what? They both lead to the same dead end. You feel misunderstood, you feel unheard, and you end up feeling like a side character who's stuck backstage in your own life.
Okay, so how in the world do we break this cycle? The way out is actually surprisingly simple. It all starts with one single powerful choice.
And that choice is taking responsibility. Now hold on, this is not about blaming yourself. It's actually the complete opposite. It's about being able to just embrace who you are right now. All your mistakes, all your flaws, the whole package. It's a really powerful act of self-acceptance.
Think of it this way. Taking responsibility is like planting a big, strong tree right in the center of your inner world. It's solid. It lets you look forward. Blame and guilt, they're like these vines that are always trying to pull you backward into the past. Without that solid foundation, that tree, real growth is pretty much impossible.
Okay, so once we've put down those roots, once that foundation of responsibility is there, then we can start building a totally new way of expressing ourselves. This is what's called transcendent communication.
So how does this actually work? Well, it involves developing this other, supporting ability. Sometimes it's called light. Think of it like a bridge. It's that magic touch that finally connects what's true on the inside with what you say on the outside. It's the thing that makes your words land, to really connect with someone and resonate back to you.
And when you do this, the results are, well, they're transformative. Suddenly, you're saying the right thing at the right time to the right person. You start to get the creative power of your own words, and you learn to trust your gut. You start spotting problems when they're tiny before they blow up. Even your relationship with anger shifts. It stops being this destructive bomb and becomes more like a signal light telling you to pay attention. You basically go from being reactive to being truly powerfully present and articulate.
And this whole journey, it can start with something as simple as a daily commitment. Something like this affirmation. This isn't just about wishful thinking. It's a practice. It's a choice you make every day to speak from your heart with real sensitivity and to finally let go of those old patterns of fear and pleasing people. It's really the first step to unlocking that incredible, transcendent self that's been waiting inside you, just wanting to be heard.